The movie begins with two superhumans in a fight. The girl gets injured and her powers are malfunctioning. The scene cuts to a talk show with two guests, the actors that were playing the superheroes in the clip, Adam Clark and Sophie. These actors are well-known and award-winning stars. The host asks about how real their relationship feels, and Adam proceeds to tell how much he loves her, and she says it back on live TV. We see Sophie on the set of Super Society, the movie that they were promoting in the talk show together, when she walks in on Adam cheating on her. She walks away feeling sick and disoriented. Margaret, who is Adam's and Sophie's manager, talks to Chris, who is also Sophie's manager, about how they have to keep on pretending to date until the movie is over. Rachel, Sophie's friend, is on set helping her deal with her anxiety and stress, and finding ways for her to cope with the fact that she has to deal with the pressure of acting alongside her cheater ex-boyfriend. Margaret and Chris say that this has to happen because they are more famous and successful together than they are apart. People like to see them together as a couple and a pair. In the next segment, we get to meet a new character. Alex is cooking and a random girl walks in and he serves her breakfast. She is a blogger and he is a manager of a hotel. Alex and Ted, his best friend, go to the hotel. In Spanish, they fight over how he does not have a serious relationship and only has hookups. Sophie, Rachel, Chris and Adam go to shoot the movie in a foreign location. The resort is outstanding and the group finally arrives, and it's Alex who greets them and settles them in. In a conversation with his coworker, Alex is confronted. If he wants to become the manager of a new hotel, he would have to prove himself by showing his hospitality towards the special guests that had just arrived. After that conversation, Alex checks the rooms to see if everything is settled when he finds out that there were towels missing from one of the bathrooms. Rachel and Sophie get in their room, take some pictures, and Sophie decides to shower. Naked and waiting for the water to heat, she sees herself as Firefina in the mirror. Alex returns with the towels. He can't see anything in front of him and bumps into her. She calls him out for not hearing the shower and walking in anyway, and Alex quickly apologizes for the mistake. As he was walking in, Rachel flirts with him. Both girls have a moment of realization of what they had just seen. Alex and his coworkers are sitting down at lunchtime, and one of them mentions their attractiveness for Adam. She said that he looks more handsome and taller in person. Rachel mocks Sophia about Alex bumping into her naked. She finds out that Sophie really did get a crush on him and that she loves the single version of her friend. Chris interrupts the conversation, saying he got Sophie a part on New York or Nowhere, a movie that was about to start casting. In reality, she has to apply by tape recording, which she feels anxious to do without Adam. Sophie and Adam are now shooting a scene where they have to kiss, and their kiss looks awkward and weird. The producer tries to minimize the tension, but it does not work. Sophie manages to shoot the scene, but the studio believes it's not perfect. Chris and Ted have a one-on-one conversation about how both love Avril Lavigne. Sophie is frustrated and tired of being known as only Firefina or Adam's girlfriend. She walks into the hotel and finds Alex, where she asks for a late-night menu. A drunk fan wants a picture with Adam, and when she says she doesn't want to take a picture, the guy confronts her and Alex steps in, telling him to go to his room. He turns his attention to her, telling her that the kitchen was closed, and she leaves disappointed. Sophie sneaks out into the kitchen and Alex finds her. She asks him to cook for her. He makes her a sandwich and they make small talk. He asks her about her work and she figures out that he had never seen Secret Society. She eats the sandwich and loves it. They share a brief moment with a romantic gaze in each other's eyes. Alex tells her his dream and ambition of wanting to make the new hotel somewhere comfortable and calming, a place where people can go and relax and enjoy life. After talking about this idea, once again they just stare silently into each other's eyes until he goes to the fridge and grabs a mini chocolate lava cake that she also melts for. Minutes later, the same sweet and heartfelt moment returns, where they lock their eyes and create tension between the two. Sophie returns to her room for the night. The next morning, Alex decides to give it a try and watch Secret Society. He gets really excited about it. He then leaves for work and asks his coworker about Sophie, just to find out that she too asked for him. Alex took her towels. They both say how nice it was to see each other, and then Adam touches Alex on his shoulder and makes the environment all about himself. Adam kneels down close to Sophie, takes her hand, and tells her how much he is sorry for his behavior. While Adam is having his monologue, Sophie's eyes are on Alex, as are his. These two lovebirds meet again later that afternoon on a wooden bridge. They greet each other and she requests him a private tour, and he gladly agrees. He tells her how much he would want to take her to his favorite places, and that's when she tells him that she would love to go dancing. Alex asks when Adam would be ready, and she tells him that the tour is only for her. Alex smiles after their re-encounter and they both go separate ways. Once again, late at night, they both walk around the streets of the city. They make small talk about his inspiration to make the new hotel again, and he tells her that he would want to open the hotel in San Miguel. Sophie asks herself why she can't flirt anymore and tells him that that's the place where his grandmother was born. Alex thinks to himself how beautiful she looks and pulls the chair for her to sit. Sophie also thinks that he's very cute and is wondering what he thinks. Alex asks her if she wants to dance with him, and she asks him not to be intimidated by her because she is a great dancer. They both dance together in the middle of the dance floor, and she shows him how good she is and everything that she could do. As she walks away, Alex pulls her back and they continue to dance, glancing and smiling at each other. They dance through the night, never looking away from each other. The romantic spark between them is noticeable and the environment changes as if they were in a dream. Sophie says she hasn't had that much fun in a while and he agrees with her. Sophie then reaches out for a kiss, and the lights in the background make the scene more cinematic and romantic as they get what they both have wanted for a while. Sophie wishes him a good night and leaves him standing there. Rachel and Sophie talk about what happened as well as Alex and Ted. Both of them say how much they are crazy about each other and how much they want to do it again. Alex says she makes him crazy and Sophie says to Rachel that she wants to kiss him again. In the middle of the afternoon, Adam calls her out to talk to her while she was walking on the same wooden bridge. He tells her that he wanted to discuss their romantic terms and the idea of them getting back together after such a dramatic experience, to which Sophie replies that she needs space. Since it's late, Alex says goodbye to his coworkers and calls Sophie in her hotel room, telling her that his shift ends at midnight. He asks her to go for a midnight swim, which she says yes to. The choice of music and the setting makes this scene even more romantic for both of them in the pool. As one of his coworkers approaches the pool, he dives in so that she would not notice that he was there with Sophie. After she leaves, they come back to their dreamlike scene, and then it cuts to them both feeling happy in their individual settings, him in his cabin and her in the hotel room. We see Sophie and Adam shooting the scenes for Secret Society, and Alex helps Sophie record the tape for New York Nowhere. They both have a great time giggling while recording this because of how Alex is dramatizing the character. While they are talking about how good she is at acting, the phone is still recording. They're looking at each other, holding each other's arms, and he asks her what they're doing and then talks about what her and Adam's relationship is. They get interrupted by a knock in the door. Sophie goes and opens the door to find a surprise to her while Alex hid himself again in the balcony. After the housekeepers leave, she reads the note that came with the surprise, which is a message from Kate Jackson for Sophie and Adam telling them how much they are a power couple. Sophie tells Alex about how Adam cheated on her and how they have to pretend to be in love for the movie and the marketing. He then says that he has a surprise for her and takes her to a set-up cinema with a projector. His arm is around her and they hold hands. Her face looks relaxed and in love, and then it cuts to a very passionate kiss between the two main characters. A woman speaks to him on his radio asking him for his help, and so he says he has to leave. Then it cuts to a scene of him and her in the car going for a picnic because they both had a day off and could finally be alone. They both seem to be having a great time when she finds out that they have no reception or cell service, and she feels relief for not having to rely on her phone for the whole day. They go to a beach and set up their spot with some towels and some pillows. He looks at her in the distance and smiles. Rachel is listening to a podcast when she got a call, and it is somebody wanting to set up a dinner with Sophie to discuss her future projects. Alex brings chips with some sauces for them to eat at the beach, and meanwhile, Rachel is trying to reach Sophie with no luck. Alex shows Sophie how to prepare his iconic dish with the chips and the sauces, and Rachel leaves Sophie a voicemail message. At sunset, Sophie asks Alex about the timeline to open the hotel, and he says he hopes to take care of it until next year, and that he has to go to New York to fix everything before he sets up. Sophie told him that she doesn't like New York because it's too crowded and dirty, but at the same time could be a magical place. She follows up by asking him why he's reluctant, and he replies by saying that he's scared of failure and people disliking it. She tells him that if it's really worth it, the fear doesn't matter. After all, if he doesn't try, he will never know. Chris arrives at the hotel and starts fighting with Rachel because nobody could reach Sophie or know where she was. Rachel is giving Chris ideas of what she could be doing, and Chris tries to figure out who knows anything or who could tell where she had been or with whom. They then tell Adam that she is missing, and he freaks out asking for unrealistic things like dogs and police. Sophie is sitting by a fireplace when Alex arrives. The atmosphere is tense. He asks her how she feels because she has so much going on. She replies that she's caught up at work but loves to play Firefina because everybody loves her, the costumes, the catchphrases, and the intensity of the character, and she loves those things too. Alex tells her how much of a fan he is, not of Firefina, but Sophie. They then share a kiss next to that same fireplace and stay there until the next day when they wake up to the sunrise. She freaks out because she wasn't supposed to stay there over the night and tells him that they need to go. They pack everything and leave. As soon as she gets reception, she listens to her voicemail messages of everybody freaking out. She is pissed and tells him that they should have never done this date, saying that it was a huge mistake. He says that his job is important too, and she says that it's not the same, her job and his. As soon as she got there, Chris started fighting with her, saying that he was not a babysitter, and that she couldn't run off like that without him knowing where she was. He says she missed an opportunity for an exclusive with a very important person in the business, and that's a big deal. She could have at least texted just so he knew that she was okay. Chris leaves her hotel room, leaving both Rachel and Sophie shocked with what he said. Rachel said that she defended her friend because that's what matters and that she looked really happy. We can see Adam and Sophie getting ready for her to shoot a scene in the makeup room, and Adam keeps on telling her how much he wants to come back to her and get back together. These actors are now doing an interview, saying that her character kind of becomes part of who she is and how much he loves to do it. Adam starts mentioning their love relationship and how passionate and romantic their delivery of the chemistry between characters. He says that his character is sophisticated and interesting and hers is just quirky. Adam says his favorite thing about Sophie is how dedicated she is with the movie. And she says that her favorite thing about him is that he is a snake. She gets up and goes far from the reporters, and he confronts her with what's happening with Alex. She confronts him by saying that he's not better than her and that she does not need him to herself. Alex talks to his friend Ted, saying that Sophie sent a message saying they needed to talk and he thinks it's a bad thing. His friend says that love is complicated and if you really want it you have to fight for it. They meet up at the beach and as they're walking she tells him that she's really sorry for the way she treated him and that she loves who she is when she's with him. He agrees and says he feels the same way. She ends things with Adam and tells him that she really wants to be with him and doesn't need to hide anymore. She says that she has the weekend off and asks him if he wants to run away with her, but he doesn't know because he's going to meet up with his family. She tells him that she could go with him to Mexico City to meet his family and he agrees. The scenes cut to them dancing on the street, going for dates and taking pictures and having fun in each other's company. The way that they look at each other is dreamlike and it's beautiful to watch. They seem happy and she finally looks like she is doing more for herself than when she was with Adam. They visit historical places, he shows her around town and the affection is noticeable. Quite a few people recognize her just by herself without needing Adam. It's finally time for them to meet his parents and he tells her not to be nervous because they will love her for sure. Alex forgot something in his car and so he leaves her with flowers at the front door. A little boy opens the door and then a woman shows up greeting them. They finally see his mother and grandmother and he presents her to the family as Sophie, telling them that she doesn't understand a lot of Spanish. Alex's mother shows her the dinner table, and Sophie tells his mother that he prepared that chip dish at the beach. They all looked surprised to know that he cooked for her. Alex and his mother go to the kitchen to talk, and they have a conversation about him not telling them that she was coming. Still, they are excited and want to know everything. He tells them how they met, and his sister asks if they had already slept together. It cuts off to a scene between Sophie and Alex's grandmother, in which she tells her that she tried her famous chocolate cake, and that she owed her a hug. Sophie tells Alex about that one hug and he was shocked because she hates chocolate cake, so she figured out that he lied to her about it being his grandmother's recipe. He just did not want the night to end, so he made up that story. Across the room, you see his father walking in with a new fiancée. Alex's father recognized her and asked her what's her next project. She says she's not really sure but made a joke about Alex cleaning up after her. It sets a very awkward mood between the four of them, and they talk about how important it was for them to come to the birthday. He introduces himself as the junior manager of the hotel and she holds his hand as a sign of support. Alex's father asks him if he doesn't need any help from him and he says no. Sophie says that his father is intense and Alex corrects her by saying that he is an asshole. Alex's mother asks Sophie if she is having fun with their dysfunctional family, to which she replies that she is. Sophie says that she finds it amazing that they are still friends. His mother says that they love their kids, so they just stayed friends. Sophie asks in Spanish where the bathroom was and that impresses his mother. She calls Rachel and tells her how in love with him she is. Rachel ends up telling Sophie that they received bad news from the casting for New York Nowhere by mistake, and Sophie asks what they know that she doesn't. Rachel says that they did not get the movie. His father starts comparing Sophie's career that is successful and glamorous and well paid with Alex's job, which will lead him nowhere. While his dad was bombarding him with questions, Alex told him that she was nothing but a tourist. Sophie returns from the bathroom and Alex asks her what's wrong, and she replies that nothing is wrong and tells him the news anyway. Alex replies back, saying that if it didn't happen then it wasn't meant to be. He asks her what her plans are, and she says that she was thinking about going on a trip. After this small talk, she confronts him by asking him why he would tell his dad that she was only a tourist, and he says he was joking, but she doesn't believe him. She jokes sarcastically back by telling him to let her know about much she owed him for his services. Sophie believes that she is an idiot and questions why she was there. Alex says that she invited herself. They start arguing and she says that she's beginning to think that he's lying to her. He says that actors play pretend and she fires back that he never knows what he wants. They both start accusing each other of things and she gets very sad. Now there's a cinematic approach to their awkwardness during a family photo. We see Sophie representing Fairfina once again and Alex watching the news about the breakup of Adam and Sophie. He finds his friends and tells Ted how much he loves her, and his friend believes that he should just apologize and make everything right because love is full of compromises, telling him not to be afraid to send a text or a letter telling her how much he's sorry. Alex goes to find Sophie in the set of the movie that she was filming and he gets in, starts looking for her desperately, and asks Rachel for help. Rachel asks him if he really loves her and why he says that she is the best thing that he had never planned for and that she makes him a better man. Rachel tells him where she would probably be and he does find her. When he walks into the makeup trailer, Sophie isn't there, but Adam is, and Adam asks him if he is worthy of her love, to which Alex says he is. Everybody is looking for Adam, and he sends Alex in his place. They start recording the last scene, and once he tries to talk to Sophie, he puts a pause in the production and tells her how much he's sorry for what he did in Mexico City. He says he's nothing without her and that he loves her. They share a brief moment where they lock eyes. He says that she is not just a tourist and how much effort he put into being there in that movie set, prefacing his feelings for her. Asking her for a chance, everybody is starstruck and emotionally attached to the chemistry of them both. Sophie leaves without saying anything and leaves him by himself on set. Sophie goes to a party and gets to see the first poster of her character. A little girl approaches her asking for a picture, to which she says yes. The girl says she doesn't want to be like Fairfina. She wants to be Sophie when she grows up, which causes an impact on Sophie as the little girl walks away. Alex is packing his bags and gets surprised by Sophie at his doorstep. He says he was surprised to see her again, and she asks him what he was doing, to which he replies by saying that he was going to move to open his hotel in San Miguel. She asks for the late-night menu. They share a brief moment with eye contact, and she says she's hungry. He replies, saying that he hates cooking and uses the very same words that she did when he first cooked for her. He approaches her, and as he gets closer and closer, the chemistry gets more intense until she laughs and they kiss. Romantic music starts playing, and she says she loves him too. The movie ends with a close-up of the moon and the stars.